The galaxy is burning. Brother fights brother, and treason splits the Imperium of man. This is the Age of Darkness. Welcome to the Remembrancers retreat, coming to you from within the depths of the Vengeful Spirit.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Remembrancers Retreat, a Warhammer 30k Horus Heresy podcast. My name is Jesse. I'm here today with Will.
Hello.
And Jason.
Hey guys, what's going on?
So, in the eternal foot and mouth issue of when I actually say to the world, hey, we're going to do a Dreadnought podcast next week. Yeah, couldn't do a Dreadnought podcast next week.
That's what you get for planning things out.
Mea culpa. That's what I get for saying stuff out loud.
Yeah.
The universe loves dramatic irony.
It really does.
And apparently hates you in particular.
It could hate me a whole lot more, but I'm not going to attempt that. Anyway.
Yeah. We're talking Alpha Legion today, right?
That's right.
Is that what we're doing?
We're going to start.
Of Dreadnoughts?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to start going through the Legionis Astartes rules. And
but with a twist. We're doing it backwards.
Until we get bored and skip the word bearers for some reason.
Every other fucking podcast out there is going forwards. Not us, baby. Hold on to your seats, because we're going fucking backwards. I hope you're ready.
20-1.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Lore bomb. Technically, we are starting with the first found Primarch.
You're right. Spoiler alert. For anyone who hasn't read Alfarius.
Yeah, we did a episode a few months back, I want to say, about the Alpha Legion.
Oh my
and
God,
that was
so
a lot
good.
of fun. And we
Yeah,
never did
so
any
good.
of the other legions like that. So,
Well, clearly, I think Alpha Legion then have a special place in this community's heart, I guess, is what that's what we're getting at here.
we've got a handful of Alpha Legion players. Definitely.
I know
Jason
I
is
have
among them.
always liked them ever since the Dynat model came out. I have always really liked the idea of them.
Mhm.
And, their paint scheme is very unique. I think the reflective blues, green sort of thing is cool. They've got a lot going for them,
Yeah. Caro has Alpha Legion painted up by one of our local players, Mike.
Yeah. That paint scheme, Mike DeBolt's Alpha Legion, is what got me to try my hand at something similar.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of paint scheme, I absolutely love how in their original Black Book entry, there's this little excerpt that says, Alpha Legion have been seen in, 24 different color schemes. We're not sure which one is the right one, so go nuts.
Yeah, if none of them are right, then they're all right.
Yeah, exactly. Way back when in Legion, by Dan Abnett, they had purple power armor with steel-colored trim, so the sky's the limit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not even then.
No. The warp's the limit for them, I think. Not a lot of warp stuff going on, I don't think. But I do want to start kind of in the heraldry area, just because these guys look so cool with that Mark VI, that brass faceplate, and then all their different heraldry, which those are just the ones we know of. But I can't even imagine what other stuff they have. Their decal sheet must be insane. You know what I mean? Just full of iconography that we have no idea what it actually means.
Yeah, I'm looking at the color panel right now on... Oh, shoot. The... right after the heraldry page.
The one with the Contemptor and the Land Raider?
One before that.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Alpha
Gotcha.
Legion colors.
Yep, gotcha. I see it there.
Because that dude has one of my favorite helmets. I don't know why. I love that little Greek style, little faceplate and little. I don't know why you need a nose guard, on a full face helmet already, but
it looks cool.
Holy shit!
Yeah, Alpha Legion
Love that
definitely
so
going with the rule of cool. It looks like.
Oh yeah.
But so Jason, you're playing Alpha Legion, right?
It's actually the only Legion I have played so far in the 2nd edition.
Okay.
And it is spectacular.
Yeah. You guys want to dive into some rules then?
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's talk
Right
through
on.
it. You want to take it away, Jason?
Oh, sure. Happy to. All right. So, Alpha Legion. Gorgeous on the tabletop, but also gorgeous rules-wise. Their rules are nice and subtle and concise, and they have the same, let's see, they have the same inventory rules as, everybody else. Theirs is called Subtle Panoply. It just gives them access to the unique war gear items specific to the Alpha Legion.
Mm-hmm.
Same warlord trait rules. Theirs is called Sons of the Hydra. You can pick one of their 3 warlord traits. And you get a special console. Theirs is called the Saboteur. You'll remember him from the first edition. But let me talk about the glory that is lies and obfuscation, their Legionis Astartes trait. A model with this special rule is considered to be 2 inches further away than it actually is when measuring range to it from any enemy model for the purpose of resolving a shooting attack, charge, or any reaction declared by an enemy model or unit, which is cumulative to any other modifiers to range imposed by rules, such as night fight or war gear like shroud bombs.
Oof.
Okay. Will and I were just talking about this before we hopped on and started recording. So 2 inches for shooting, not that big of a deal. Now, you can combine it with things like shroud bombs, and now you're 8 inches away. That might actually make a little bit of difference. But where it is spectacular is in the 12 inches and less category. Should have worded that differently. When you're 12 inches or
Phrasing,
less,
yeah.
when you're in that 12-inch engagement zone, is spectacular because things like withdraw and advance are gauged off 12 inches. Now it's 10 inches for your opponent. And charges, -2 inches to a charge is huge. It completely cancels out anything up to, what would that be, movement 10, gives you a +2 bonus. Cancels that out completely. It's essentially forcing your opponent to constantly charge through difficult terrain,
And
on
that's not
top
to
of which,
say. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, you're
oh
probably just about to say it was on
yeah,
top of already having to charge through terrain.
yes. So I mean, a nice little setup there, like 4 inches to a charge, even on stuff like assault marines, is gonna be a huge pain for them,
Mm-hmm.
and it is phenomenal. It takes a little bit of forethought to plan exactly how far, because if you've been playing a different Legion, you definitely have to recalibrate a little bit and, think with like this 2-inch difference in mind now. But it is absolutely worth it because it's so many like fun obstacles for your opponent, which is perfect for Alpha Legion. Now, also perfect for Alpha Legion. The rewards of treachery, very similar to their Rite of War, Coils of the Hydra from last time around. So there's a whole lot of wording with this, and I understand what they're trying to do is like sort out a whole bunch of different variables. But what it comes down to is any other fun, unique unit for a different legion, as long as it has their version of Legionis Astartes, you can take a unit of it. Doesn't matter what it is, where it comes from, loyalist, traitor, go nuts. Like, you want Gal Vorbak? Done. You want Imperial Fist Huskarls? No clue why you would, but you can do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this makes no restriction to core or expanded. So this
Yeah.
whole new PDF of the legacies that dropped, the exemplary battles, they are ready for picking by the Alpha Legion.
Mm-hmm. It's good times. Now, personally, my Alpha Legion company is the 44th Heavy Assault Company. They're based on the Paramar campaign, which, if you guys have read that before, it's all about Horus trying to blood the Alpha Legion into proving themselves able to operate not like, sneaky cloak and dagger, but like out and out full Legion heavy assault warfare. That's what my company's based on. When the Alpha Legion have to kick out all the stops, bring out the big guns, and get the work done on a time schedule. Like, they don't have time for all this harrowing insertion, like operative nonsense. So my personal pick was a small unit of Iron Circle, the Domitar Ferrum.
Just a real subtle little unit, nothing too big.
Absolutely. And at first, I was going to try and stick a Legion champion in there. But unfortunately, Iron Circle can no longer be joined by a single independent character. It has to be either Perturabo, and he actually makes them better. He gives them a 5-up feel no pain, or a model with the Master of Automata special rule.
Interesting.
Which right now I think is just Praevians and Forge Lords. And let me tell you, a Forge Lord is pretty nasty considering they get a Machinator array now instead of a servo arm. But I'm getting way off track. Anywho, so yeah, any unit you want that's unique to another Legion, snap one up. It's yours today.
Deathwing Companions.
Deathwing Companions, heck.
Keep your HQ units safe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my number one thing is going to be Suzerains. I mean, Suzerains, I think they would just go perfect. They're a melee unit with the -2. They just scream, yeah, absolutely, go for it.
I think you mentioned this, but yeah, unique characters cannot be picked, even if they have Legion Astartes. So
that is true. The only thing that you cannot take is unique things. Like,
is the World Eater, or not World Eater, Word Bearer Dreadnought unique?
The Marigal.
Or are you not allowed to take Marigal? Right? Are you allowed to take Dreadnoughts, or is it just infantry?
You can definitely take Dreadnoughts.
Any model with the Legionis Astartes X rule.
Oh shit! Maybe the only restriction I'm seeing here is unique unit subtype. So
correct.
Wowzers. Okay. What about those Dark Angel Automata? Those
the Excendio is not.
It does not have Legion. That was my first idea.
Oh, are you serious? Damn.
Yeah. I like the second that Legacy PDF came out, I was like scrolling through for an Excendio because I was like, how funny would it be and how perfectly Alpha Legion would it be to take like an ancient heretical like sentient intelligence and like stuff it into a drop pod that'll rattle it around like angry bees in a can and then fire it straight into the middle of like an enemy position and just let it go nuts.
Ooh.
But I mean, it makes sense not having Legion as a starting. So
I was thinking like a Dreadwing Interemperor Squad.
Mm-hmm.
Get your Flamer Plasma on.
Also a good choice.
Yeah. And every time I think about it, the -2 is so big, like it definitely would help out the Plasma Flamer guys getting closer without being, beaten up so much. So
absolutely.
Yeah, it's such a good core rule.
It definitely adds on itself. Like it's small, but it's always going to be useful. And speaking of, the second half of the page, the Alpha Legion Advanced Reaction. So this one's called Smoke and Mirrors, and it's a shooting phase reaction. When the enemy player declares a shooting attack targeting a friendly unit of your Alpha Legion models, before resolving the shooting attack, and that is important. It's not like evade or return fire that you wait until after the shooting attack, you see what happens. This is before the shooting attack. You can redeploy the entire unit anywhere within 12 inches of its original position. Then it scatters D6 inches.
My gosh.
Yeah, it's real great. Again, in those like short, like the 12-inch engagement zone, it's spectacular because if it puts you out of effective range, then the shooting attack is lost and you're in your new position now.
Yeah.
It's good times. What's also super funny, I have used it once to, I always imagine like, making the Nightcrawler bamf sound before popping up and scattering. I've used it for a dreadnought to shoot him 12 inches closer to a pretty upset recon squad. That was pretty good.
Oh, wow.
It's like, that was a mistake, boys.
Yep. And it should also be noted that if you move the model out of a way to where it's out of line of sight or out of range of the opponent, they don't get to make another shot. They basically lose that shooting attack.
Wow. Okay, that's solid. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's good times.
The Alpha Legion are fittingly frustrating from what I've seen so far.
Very much so. So, well, speaking of frustrating, the next page over for their warlord traits, the first one I'm never going to use because it's loyalist only, but just for the sake of completion, the Mobius configuration. And I definitely read that as Morbius, like the first half dozen times. Oh, man, that's going to age well when people listen to this sometime in the future.
It'll never not be funny.
Oh, boy.
Look it up on IMDb, kids.
Yeah, it's fun times. It was a brief point of history. So, an army whose warlord has this trait counts any allied detachment that has any version of the Legionis Astartes special rule as though it had fellow warriors, regardless of the variant it actually has. Units from this allied detachment are removed as casualties do not score victory points for the opposing player, regardless of the mission objectives in play, and if all models that were part of the allied detachment have been removed as casualties by the end of the battle, the controlling player gains +1 victory point. Now, downside, no unit in the allied detachment may make reactions of any kind, but the first unit in the primary detachment to make a reaction each turn does not use up a point of the controlling player's reaction allotment when making that reaction. So, it's not bad. It sort of makes sense. They're undercover operatives, doing the business. What was the saying from God and Futurama? Do your job right, and nobody will know you were even there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That definitely seems like an appropriate loyalist Alpha Legion sentiment, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of what this is trying to represent. But I mean, it's only going to be so good.
Yeah, this would lead you to kind of make an allied detachment a little bit more points heavy than normally would, I would think.
Yeah.
Or, but that being said, if any version of Legionis Astartes X, as though it had fellow warriors, that allows you to take pretty much anybody. And even though it's a loyalist-only faction, that allows you to roll in, I'd assume, traitor legions as well.
I didn't even think of that.
I mean, do you think I'm right in that assumption?
I mean...
Which honestly would make even more sense if you're a loyalist. You pretend, hey, I'm bad guy Alpha Legion, let's go kill the Emperor. Come on over here, Iron Warriors guy. Let's go take care of this guy.
That's a good point. Okay,
Iron Warriors die. Success. One victory point, please.
Perfect sense.
Okay, yeah, it makes more narrative sense now that I'm walking through in my head.
All right, yeah. It helped to talk that out because I never would have thought of that in a million years just reading it by myself.
Although it is a shame. It is a bit of a shame it's a loyalist only.
Yeah.
I can see it go both ways with that one.
They can't all be winners.
That's, there's got to be some restriction, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
and that one,
I might steal that one. We'll see what happens.
But next off, pretty universally useful, Master of Lies. So for this warlord trait, at the start of the battle, once all players have deployed, including infiltrators and scouts, and the seize the initiative roll has been made, you can pick up to 3 of your own units, and you can redeploy them as you wish within the constraints of the mission being played. They can be put into reserves, but they can't be brought out of reserves and onto the battlefield or assigned to deep strike, subterranean, flanking, any of that nonsense. In addition, you can make an additional reaction during the opposing player's movement phase, so long as the warlord has not been removed. This may just be because I am not as tactically flexible and creative yet in the second edition, but movement reactions in the movement phase never seem as useful to me as shooting and assault phase reactions.
Well, I think when you start playing a few more, you might reconsider that, considering you still have that 2-inch subterfuge.
Lies and obfuscation.
Yeah. With that 2-inch extra movement that they have to take, stacking that on top of that.
I could see it, but it's never going to be as much fun as Hydron Excurser.
Okay. You've got your favorite already.
I do. I'm not going to lie.
That's
because the next one down is terrific. It's not locked to anything, but the Warlord with this trait, select any variant of the Legionis Astartes rule other than Legionis Astartes Alpha Legion at the start of the battle before any models are deployed. Now, that Warlord and any unit he has gained will gain a +1 bonus to all hit rolls made against models with that variant of Legionis Astartes. Also, you can take an extra reaction during the shooting phase. Always going to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is handy.
Guess, on something shooting heavy that's probably not going to get into combat as much, like the Vigilator, he's already got ballistic skill 6 and a mastercrafted bolter, so bumping him up to ballistic skill 6 is not going to make a huge amount of difference.
True.
But you can stick him in another unit, and at that point, he's basically a free cognoscignum that you don't have to give up your own shooting attack for.
Yeah.
Oh, another big thing too, though, is it is just a flat +1 to all to hit rolls. It works in combat as well.
Oh, you were right. I did not notice that. That's significant.
It was really nice. My first game ever, I used it on my Legion champion and a squad of breachers. And it was instrumental in taking down a tactical squad that was almost double their own size. A little bit of luck on my part, but Hydron Excurser definitely made the difference. It's good times. All right. Anything else while we're here on the Warlord traits?
No, I think they're pretty cool. They all fill their own niche. I think, your favorite is the Hydron Excurser for good reasons. I feel like depending on how you play, Master of Lies could be useful, depending on your game style, if you like to control the board. And Moby's configuration has a very nice fluffy feel to it if you're really wanting to delve into a lore-based type of army.
I do think the Morbius configuration is definitely the narrative best of the three.
Yeah.
Especially now that we've talked through it. It does narratively, it's definitely the winner.
Mm-hmm.
I will give it that.
But from a gameplay aspect, Hydron Excurser is pretty darn good.
Yeah, it's never not going to be good. I can't say enough. It would be difficult
not to take that. That's for sure.
It's
flat
good
plus
times.
+1 hit's always good.
Mm-hmm. Just ask Imperial Fists.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So that being said, before in the past, I know for the Dark Angels in the last edition, we skipped the rites of war and go into the armory and the units just because the rites of war talk to different units that we haven't really covered yet.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay, so we want to do armory, then units, then rites of war?
Yeah, then fall back on the rites is usually the best way to do it. Yep.
Can do. All right. Armory of the Alpha Legion. Good stuff all around. First off, power daggers. You know them. You love them. They're still strength 3, still AP 3. However, 2 huge bonuses now. Now, I will say it is a bit of a shift because they are no longer specialist weapons. I know previously it was kind of like the Alpha Legion little special, fun 5-point upgrade to give you an extra bonus attack on that Power Fist or Thunder Hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately now, can't do that anymore. They actually scooted that over to Sons of Horus. They have a specialist oh, shoot, I forget what it's called. It's this wonky little like hatchet axe. Basically the same thing.
Gotcha.
But however, power daggers are pretty darn good because while they are Strength 3 AP 3, they have Sudden Strike 1 and Breaching 5+, which means on the turn you charge, you get a +1 initiative bonus, which puts you up to 5 for, say, Headhunters, who come stock with them. And
or 6 if you put it on the HQ.
Oh, yeah. Good point. But while they are still Strength 3, Breaching 5+ means every time you wound a Marine at Toughness 4, it's going to be AP 2. So pretty great.
At Toughness 4. Oh, right, because Strength 3, duh. Threw me off there for a second.
Yeah, no worries.
You don't see Strength 3 on a lot of Space Marine weaponry.
You don't. It's a little odd just because I don't think sets, well, definitely more so in 2nd edition, set strength weapons don't tend to be that common. Almost everything's like strength user. So there are not a whole lot of instances where that's going to make a huge difference, but it is a set strength weapon.
Yeah.
So if you so happen to benefit from the biomancy boost, you'd still be Strength 3.
True.
I can't really think of an instance other than that'd make a big deal.
Yeah. But
anyhow,
striking that initiative, well, bonus initiative if you charge in.
Yeah.
And the breaching, it's a tool that will take a little bit of technique to use, but still very handy, I think.
Because headhunters are never going to be like a heavy assault unit, but they are terrific when paired with their other cool armory item, the Banestrike Bolter. So these are the same ones that the Sons of Horus get. Any model with independent character and Alpha Legion can exchange a bolter for a Banestrike Bolter or a Combi Bolter for a Banestrike Combi Bolter for 5 points each. It's definitely worth it. Any models in a Legion Seeker squad can exchange the Kraken Bolters for Banestrike Bolters for no additional points, or any models in the Veteran squad can exchange their normal bolters for Banestrike bolters for 2 points. Don't know how valuable that is. You do keep the specialist ammo for your Seekers other than the Kraken bolts, but because the Banestrike bolter is range 18 inches, rapid fire, so a little bit shorter range than your normal bolter. However, it is Strength 5, AP 4, Breaching 6+.
Yeah.
So, which is terrific, especially with, again, something like Headhunters, when you light up a squad from 8 or 9 inches away, which is, again, within that 12 inches engagement zone that the Alpha Legion really excel at, like these little short-range firefights. And I know I've been talking about Headhunters a lot, and that's because they're spectacular now. Anybody that plays Alpha Legion always kind of cringes when they think about Headhunters from the 1st edition, because they weren't bad, but they were just stratospherically expensive for what they did. Now they're not. Now they're right where they should be, and they're amazing. And the last thing down here also comes with Headhunters, funnily enough, are Venom Spheres. These are a little bit different now. Any character, so squad sergeants, etc., can take a Venom Sphere for 10 points. They're a one-shot, 8-inch range Assault 6, Strength 1, AP Dash, Poison 3+.
It's a weird piece of war gear, but it's still kind of fun.
It is. Is it effective? Maybe. Is it going to be entertaining? Definitely.
Yeah. Again, it's that matter of, and you said Headhunters have these too, right?
Yeah, the Headhunter Prime, the squad sergeant, comes with a single Venom Sphere.
Okay. I don't know if they were all equipped with it and they can all just chuck Venom Spheres.
That would be fun.
40 dice.
That would be a little over the top, but fun.
AP Dash, though.
It is only strength 1. There are a couple of things that are immune to poison that'll kind of laugh it off. But even against robots, automata, you have to re-roll Fleshbane and Poison. Not a bad chance with a 3+.
Right. Which, yeah, I felt it a little bit weird with the dreadnoughts.
Mhm.
Also having the re-roll poison, where you see poison 2 up and 3 up most commonly. So that
Right.
I feel like that particular little bit of insurance isn't really that effective. But again, I'm digressing for something else. But that'll be a dreadnought episode here.
Dreadnought episode coming soon.
Hurry up, Steven. All right.
All right. Well, how about, since I've talked about them so much,
Yeah.
because I love them so much,
Mhm.
how about we start with Headhunters
Okay.
for rules?
All right. You want to jump in there? All right.
Heck yeah. Because any Alpha Legion player wants to use Headhunters.
Mhm.
They wanted to use them last edition, and it was just shy of actively hamstringing yourself to try and fit them in.
Yeah.
Because I think they started at 225 points for 5 dudes.
It was expensive. I do remember that.
Oh, yeah. And they were slightly shootier veterans.
Mhm.
It wasn't a great time.
Yeah.
But oh boy, is it good now. Like, they are worth the wait. So they start out at 125 points. Pretty much a basic Marine stat line across the board, except for Ballistic Skill 5, and they've got 1 bump up to Leadership for Leadership 8 and 9 on the Sergeant.
Mhm.
You get 5 for Headhunters and a Prime. Each one of them have a Bane Strike Combi Bolter, the twin-linked one, a Power Dagger, a Bolt Pistol, a Venom Sphere on the Headhunter, and Frag, Crack Grenades, and Power Armor. But it gets better, because they are skirmish, which means they need
wow.
a 3-inch coherency instead of a 2-inch, and they get a +1 bonus to any cover save they take part in.
And that's part of the skirmish subtype.
Mm-hmm. And special rules just gets better. They are relentless, which means they can move, double fire their combi bolter, and charge.
I love seeing relentless more common with more units in this edition.
Yeah. It's nice because I like how they've started putting it on things that aren't Terminators.
Yeah. Terminators are bikes. I think bikes were relentless by default
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Bikes were relentless.
But now
But-
elite units feel more powerful.
Yeah, like 100%, like a 8-foot tall tank armored man
Mhm.
who's like 100-year veteran can definitely move, fire, and unlimber a close combat weapon all in the same like couple of seconds.
Like I would love to, in previous editions, I would have loved to take missile launchers on my, like veterans and stuff. And sure, they can get the sling, but it got kind of goofy with the suspensor web. So
I guess that was kind of like the proto version of these rules. Like they were trying to figure out a way to make it work. Because I always thought of it more like Terminators are giant walking tanks. They have no problems like, walking forward, firing off cyclone missiles.
Mhm.
For something relentless like a veteran or a headhunter team, I think of them as being like so practiced and agile that it doesn't take any time at all for them to like slam into cover, whip up the missile launcher, and fire a missile in the time it would take like your 20-year like average tactical Marine to even get
Load
the missile launcher out of the backpack.
Yeah, like we said, elites are feeling elite.
They do feel elite
Again,
AF.
And again, that off the beaten track here, but yeah, relentless. I love seeing relentless now.
Oh, it's good business.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not all. Precision shot 4+.
That's really darn significant.
Spectacular.
Yep.
Holy smokes.
I feel like in our last episode, we talked about precision shots and how important it is to take out HQ units and characters, and having precision shot is a very, very effective tool.
Definitely.
To keep your opponent off guard.
Oh, yeah. Special, and don't just think of it about like boinking shots off like, the Praetor or whatever. everything in that unit that you're shooting at that's not a line Marine is vulnerable. Apothecary, Vexilla, dude with a melt-a-gun, sergeant that looks at you funny. Like,
Yeah.
anything is vulnerable. Knock it out. So pretty much. So these
Does
guys
it have a subtype? Get rid of it.
right? Like,
does it have war gear? Get rid of it.
absolutely. All specs guy, Vox guy.
That's true. Yeah. Vexilla guy.
Pick them all out.
Yep.
Sirs are no longer looking out. It's every Marine for themselves now, apparently.
And leadership 7 for your standard tactical.
Yup. And once you knock out that squad sergeant, you're probably on a decent sized unit even, you probably knock down enough casualties to make them take that break check on the lowered leadership 7 now. But and that's and 2, don't forget, it's every single shot at a 4+, and these guys are ballistic skill 5 with a twin link Bane Strike bolter. Like, they're definitely hitting, was that a 1 in 36 chance to miss on a 6-sided die? You're hitting pretty much every shot you put down range.
Yep. And in case you don't, you also have preferred enemy independent character.
You do. Oh boy.
So you can reroll against units that have an independent character in their unit.
And which is pretty darn helpful for a strength 5 combi bolter against toughness 4. Anytime you re-roll, that gives you a whole nother chance to get that 6+ breach for an AP2.
That's true. Good God.
And this is, while preferred enemy does not confer to models in your own friendly unit, it does keep the first edition vibe of, if there is that subtype of unit or of model in the unit you're shooting at, you get your preferred enemy bonus against the entire unit.
Yeah.
Which is, again, like, it just gets better.
Yeah. This is wild.
And then for last deal, infiltrate and scout. Never not going to be useful.
Yeah. Good God. This is for 125 points base.
For 5 dudes.
I don't even need to take any options for this, Jason.
So good. You don't need a transport because you can infiltrate them wherever you want and then, like, redeploy.
Yep.
Whew, it's good.
Right off the rack. Don't even have to care. Headhunters. Good
and
God.
They're 20 points each to add additional ones in there, up to 5 more.
That sounds like a steal to me.
It absolutely is. I've used both Seekers and the Headhunters, and while I think the Seekers can be a little bit stronger shooting, with they've got the option to take Nemesis bolters, they've got the couple of ammo types if you don't. They're a little bit more flexible. Headhunters are less expensive. They come with power daggers. They're way better in combat than Seekers are. They're great across the board. But just to get through their little options real quick, I don't know that I'd ever... you can switch a Bane Strike Combi Bolter for a minor combi weapon for free, or a Magna Combi weapon for 5 points. I don't know if I'd ever want to, because while it does give them a little extra oomph, it does swap out the entire Bane Strike for just a stock bolter. And I don't think that's worth it.
And maybe Volkite as a minor.
Yeah, I could see it.
It's still, that Bane Strike's good. It's the matter is range at that point. And like how far, or how do you want to run them? Do you want to run them in the back? Or you don't, and it is for each model. So if you need to keep a few like combi meltas in your back pocket, just in case you come up against something.
It does make them more flexible, but it does kind of dilute the potency of just letting rip at like 8 or 9 inches with all of those Bane Strike bolters.
That's true. Is there a combi graviton weapon?
I don't think so.
I don't think
that
so
would be
either.
nice.
I don't believe so, but
Because, hang on, the minor ones are Volkite, Flamer, Grenade.
correct.
The Magnas are Plasma Melta?
Plasma Melta, I want to say there was one more. I could be wrong. But yeah, the Magnas are the one shot, whatever used to be one shot, and the minors are,
Got it.
use every turn.
And then one Headhunter can exchange his Bane Strike Combi Bolter for a Heavy Bolter or a Multi-Melta. Again, I'm not super sure I'd ever do it. It makes them more flexible, but it dilutes what they're good at.
Also keep in mind, with the Multi-Melta, it is relentless.
Mm-hmm.
And
It is.
with that being said, someone who might have vehicles to try to mess up your day might have to worry about that, especially if you keep them, one or two. Well, maybe just one because it's 20 points. So it's the cost of one other guy. But knowing that unit now suddenly is a threat.
Oh, definitely.
Because for my, in my previous edition for my rhinos, I would always put a multi-melta or a melta gun on them just because it turns that 35 point tin can into an actual threat that a land raider is going to have to think about. Like, do I want to take that shot?
Yes, Jesse. As an editor's note, later on that evening, we were texting each other and realized that, yes, the multi-melta is 24-inch range, twin-linked, strength 8, AP 1, and due to the fact that the Headhunters have Relentless and Precision 4 up, this is a nightmare of an independent character killing machine. So yes, the multi-melta is actually a really damn good weapon for the Headhunters.
Speaking of Pocket Melta, the Headhunter Prime can exchange his bolt pistol for a plasma pistol for 5, an Inferno pistol for 15. Inferno pistol, definitely. All day, every day, 4-up precision shot, and just ruin some poor squad sergeant's day. Absolutely.
Oh, God, yeah.
They can also take, the Prime can take a Power Fist or a stock power weapon. I guess, but not. It's only 5 points for a power weapon. I guess I could see like a power sword, but that does lose you the benefit of the +1 initiative from your power dagger.
Yeah, and now with a sudden strike, that is when you charge, right? You don't get that. Okay.
Just like it's like the initiative version of Furious Charge.
Gotcha.
Then you can take Melta-Bombs and Artificer Armor, just like everybody else on the planet.
Yeah, the Headhunter, it's for this, only the Sergeant can take the Melta-Bomb for 15 points.
Correct.
Okay.
I think I would take an Inferno pistol over the Melta-Bombs, though.
I would too, because it's more flexible, because you can't usually slap Melta-Bombs on characters, so.
Yeah.
Or like on two characters, so.
Exactly. All right.
Very cool.
How about some Lernaean Terminators?
Lernaean Terminators are the elite Terminator squadrons for Alpha Legion, and coming in at 250 points base. They are in Cataphracti Terminator armor.
Boo.
With your standard Terminator stats across the board. With movement 6, 4 for your weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength, toughness, 2 wounds each because it is 2nd edition. Initiative 4, 2 attacks, base, 3 for the Sergeant Harrower, and leadership 8 and 9 respectively. They have Volkite Chargers and Power Axes as default. The Sergeant Harrower has a Venom Sphere, and they are heavy and line.
Yeah, I missed that the first couple of times through. These guys are line.
Yep. They can score, and they can deny, which I can't think of other Terminators that can do that off the top of my head right now. But then again, we're still digging through all these legions.
And just like the Headhunters, they start out great. I will admit they are kind of expensive. 250 points for 5 Terminators is pretty chunky.
Yeah.
But they do come stock with Volkite Chargers.
Mm-hmm. So they do have some decent range to them and, decent amount of shots.
Mm-hmm.
They are Legionis Astartes Alpha Legion, of course. They are relentless. They're bulky 2. They have It Will Not Die 5 up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They are stubborn, and they have Hydrant Exemplars. Now, this particular special rule, the controlling player of a unit composed entirely of models with this special rule must select any one variant of the Legionis Astartes X special rule other than Legionis Astartes Alpha Legion at the start of the battle before any models are deployed. All models in the unit with this special rule gain a bonus of +1 to all hit rolls made against models with the chosen variant of the Legionis Astartes X special rule.
I love this so much. It's a tiny version of my favorite warlord trait.
Yeah.
Because I guess, like, starting out, I guess you could, it's like they only have weapon skill, ballistic skill 4. A lot of the other elite Terminators have weapon skill or ballistic skill 5.
Mm-hmm.
But this is functionally better in a lot of ways.
It really is, because honestly, for the most part, you're never going to see more than one version of Legionis Astartes on the other side of the table, unless you're playing doubles, which at that point, too, your other opponent can take care of the other side. And
yeah. I mean, in doubles, like, you kind of get to be flexible with rules anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of normal mindsets go out the window with doubles or any multiplayer version of this game. So
the other thing I wanted to make sure we could touch on, they still have the same option for normal Terminator stuff, heavy flamer, plasma blaster. They can take a Volkite culverin.
Mhm.
However, normal conversion beam cannon. This is exciting because I love blind. It is my favorite special rule.
Right.
And so far, I think that and the heavy conversion beam cannon on the Predator are the only 2 places in the Astartes list you can find blind so far.
Mm.
If anybody else knows about it, like one somewhere that I don't know of, tell me, because I want to know about it.
Yeah. It might be tucked away in some other Legion's war gear, maybe.
Which would be funny if it was another Legion special unit, because then you could borrow it because you're Alpha Legion. It's good times to be Alpha Legion.
Yep. So, also, as dedicated transports, they can take a Land Raider Proteus or a Legion Dreadclaw drop pod as a dedicated transport if there are no more than 5 models. And if they're numbering up to 10, they may select a Spartan as a dedicated transport. And as always, they do not use up an additional Force Org slot, but its point cost must be still paid for the army.
Mm-hmm.
So in addition to the conversion beam cannon, they can also take a heavy flamer for 5 points, a plasma blaster for 10, and a Volkite culverin for 10 points as well. And each, you can have up to 5 additional Lernians for 45 points a model. And if you, for some reason, you feel like you don't want a power axe, you can change them out for a power fist for 15 or a chain fist for 20.
I'm not sure that I ever would. So the other, like, ranged weapons are handy. They increase your way to fire, but it's not a conversion beamer. Like, that's so unique, it feels weird not to take it.
Mm-hmm.
And big point, conversion beamers no longer have that weird, what is it, like, it was something like firing calibration, where even if you were relentless or a vehicle, you had to be immobile.
Okay. I never really used them much myself, because my method of gaming was I'm going to push my models up in your face and hit. Mm-hmm. So conversion beamers were never really my thing.
Yeah, it's all those plasma flamers, really.
Yeah. But it is an expensive unit, but they have line.
They have line.
If you have line, give 1 or 2 a conversion beamer, and they are a backfield bulwark.
Absolutely.
Like, and they can hold your objectives in your side of the field pretty darn well, I think.
Yeah, nobody wants to come across the field and fight that. Nobody wants it to come across the field to them and fight them either way.
And they have It Will Not Die.
Yeah.
So even if they are being hit by stuff from across the field, they still have another 5-up save, or damage mitigation, I should say, roll.
Yeah. It's real good times.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see. What do we think next? Special characters?
Yeah, why not?
All right. Exodus is a fan favorite. He's basically an upgunned vigilator. He does have, let's see, we've got...
A lot of edgy war gear names in this guy.
Oh, yeah, right? He, like, just started scrolling through Tumblr, like, picking...
Oh, that's
like,
cool.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That one makes me feel things. Is it a 2005 emo album cover, or is it war gear?
This one's going to my Pinterest.
Oh gosh, yeah,
His aging ourselves.
Oh gosh, hey, I can't say anything. My favorite band is My Chemical Romance, so I'm never going to give anybody crap for their music choice. All right, so
let's not think about how old those guys are. So anyway.
All right, so we got fun things here. Ballistic skill 6, 3 wounds, initiative 5, leadership 9. Now, he does just have power armor. He does not have artificer. However, fun thing, he is very rare to have a power armored model that is also the subtype light, which is nice. Gives you a little boost to movement.
You add your... how does that work? You add...
+1 to your movement-based reactions.
Right. So he's, wow, at initiative 5, so he basically 6 inches for any reaction he makes that moves him.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Speedy little dude.
So he can move behind.
Which is handy.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
So, war gear-wise, he has power dagger bolt pistol, the instrument, power armor, refractor field, venom sphere, melt-a-bombs, frag grenades, crack grenades, shroud bombs. So he's basically like a headhunter and a recon marine stuffed into one. It's good times.
So we haven't touched on shroud bombs yet. That's a standard piece of war gear now, and that basically treats you as 6 inches away.
Right, 6
from charge distances,
further.
Or is it everything?
Just shooting.
Just shooting. Okay. Yeah, I guess it wouldn't make sense for charging. That would be just stupid.
The downside is anything with night vision or Primarchs, just ignore them.
Yeah.
And, the other thing is oh gosh, what is it? I want to say it's an extra D6 for scatter for artillery, but don't quote me on it, and it would take me too long to page through and find it.
Okay.
Special rules, we're looking at a whole host of good stuff. He is relentless. He's got Pathfinder, so he doesn't have to worry about dangerous terrain.
Mm-hmm. And he confers basically move through cover to a unit he's with, too.
Yeah.
But he is lone killer, so I don't think that...
That is a downside, yes. Lone killer. He can't be taken as your compulsory HQ. And he cannot join any other units except recon squads and headhunter kill teams.
Well, honestly, that's not terrible.
Yeah. I mean, where else are you going to put him? Put him in like an assault squad? Get out of here.
No.
Then he's also got a couple of his own unique things. The Hidden Hand, which is unique for him. He gets Shrouded 5+, which is pretty nice. Combined with the Refractor Field, he's actually pretty darn survivable. And Assassin's Eye.
And Lone Killer.
Yeah, and Lone Killer.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. We just talked about that. Anyway.
No worries. For Assassin's Eye, whenever Exodus makes attacks as part of a shooting attack, the range of any weapon are not restricted or affected by night fighting, shroud bombs, or any other special or rule that affects distance, which I assume would also fall under the Alpha Legion special rule. I don't know why I'd be shooting at other Alpha Legion, but you never know, being Alpha Legion himself.
Oh, that seems perfectly feasible at this point.
Right? Oh, and another fun thing, just like a Primarch, he never suffers any penalty to his ballistic skill from night fighting or other special rules, always makes to hit rolls using his full ballistic skill, including snapshots, and no model can take shrouded rolls to negate wounds inflicted by his attacks.
Whew. So night vision on that part.
Yeah, basically night vision plus.
Yeah.
Pretty darn good.
That's a good model.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
I just thought of this, though. He never suffers penalties to his ballistic skill from night fighting or any other special rules. He's immune to blind.
Because he's got that Assassin's Eye.
Yeah, Assassin's Eye. You got the close it when the flashbang goes off. Also, the Hidden Hand is other little unique fun rule here is for deployment. At the start of the battle, the controlling player can place him in any position on the battlefield so long as he is within area terrain or at least 9 inches from any enemy model if he is not in area terrain, regardless of line of sight or proximity to enemy models. If he's deployed from reserve after the start of the first turn, he may enter play from any point on the battlefield's edge chosen by the controlling player. If he joins a unit during deployment or in reserves and is deployed as part of that, he may not use any of the benefits of this special rule, but instead gains Scout and Infiltrate only if the unit he has joined also possesses those special rules. They really want you to use him by himself.
Yeah.
Because his sniper rifle is pretty terrific, and he can get plenty of work done by himself. So the instrument is his unique sniper rifle of unknown design and provenance, which seemingly uses a mixture of advanced bolter technology and gravitic accelerators. So this is an auto weapon for anything that affects it. It's got 2 profiles, and you get to pick whenever you shoot it. However, shooting attacks for any part of a reaction have to use rapid shot. So, rapid shot, 24-inch range, strength 7, AP2, assault 3, sunder, and pinning. Pretty decent chance of knocking over light vehicles.
Light vehicles, tactical marines.
Yeah. Keep in mind too, this is it's a sniper rifle. So it does have sniper. It's all precision shots. It's good times.
Oh, okay.
So,
is it?
Not for rapid shot mine, but for like execution shot.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Sadly, you cannot precision fire that'd be like the sniper rifle version of like fanning the chamber with an old revolver. Sadly not. It's very effective, but can't aim quite as well. Execution shot is strength 7, AP1, heavy 1, sniper, sunder, pinning, and deadly aim. So, deadly aim, if you have not moved, he is relentless, so you can move and fire heavy 1. But if you do not move, the attack is given brutal 2, which is good business. Keep in mind, if you do use that, you cannot charge with Exodus in the same turn.
Oh man, I was planning on charging him.
Yeah, right? From
with my execution shot.
68 inches away.
So yeah, it does. So I'm assuming, because obviously he's the only guy with deadly aim as far as I know right now, that if he has not moved if he has not moved during a shooting attack, even though he has relentless, that doesn't count. I would think.
Yeah.
Even if he has relentless, he would still count as moving for the sake of deadly aim.
Yeah, because it just says flatly if he has not moved.
So
yeah, okay,
that makes sense to me in my head.
I think so. But all of that for a package of 165 points, which
3
is not all that much. What's that? 70 points more than a normal Vigilator. Well worth it.
And I think it looks like he's a Praetor tier as far as his stats go too.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, he's not leadership 10, but still.
He doesn't have Artificer armor, but
Again, he's got Shrouded, Refractor Field. He's got a 5-up rerollable effectively in most cases.
I mean,
shoot, with that 72-inch execution shot, you're not really going to have him, hopefully, in much danger when you can anyway.
Yeah. He's basically maybe a little boring, non-creative, but kind of designed to do a Vigilator's job better, because when you're not moving, you're getting those 2 potential wounds on which can essentially knock out a Centurion in 1 hit if, you're lucky.
Yeah. Our Centurion's still 2 wounds in this edition.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, even a Praetor's not going to enjoy having 2 wounds knocked off.
No, nope. They'll have to lean on that Iron Halo pretty hard. Yeah, 2 wounds for Centurion. Okay. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah. Pretty solid choice here. And it should also be noted that the Exodus is not unique.
He
So
is not.
if you really wanted to be annoying, just put an Exodus on either corner of the table and your Dawn of War list, and yeah, I'm already getting frustrated just thinking about it. Okay.
You are well within your rights to take 2 Exodi, which at first I thought was just a mistake, like they forgot to put unique in there, but then I was like, wait, hang on, no, that makes perfect sense. Of course he's not unique. He's like, his sobriquet is literally the one who is many.
Yeah.
Perfect. Alpha Legion don't even have a single Primarch. Like, of course Exodus is not unique. It's good times. Sadly, Alpha Arius is unique, but
well, that would be pretty funny too.
That would be hilarious.
But we'll get to him here in a second. We still have another HQ unit, Armillus Dynat.
Right, Dynat. So I like Dynat. He's kind of near and dear to my heart because my alphas are based off Paramar. And he is kind of the headmaster of the whole Paramar campaign. But he is pretty good. Basic Praetor stats across the board. You got your weapon skill 6. You got your 3 wounds, your initiative 5, 4 attacks, leadership 10, artificer armor, iron halo. Fun things. He's got a venom sphere, a phosphex bomb, frag and crack grenades, and his paired weapons, the Prince and the Prophet, are his Thunderhammer and Power Sword combo. His special rules over and above the normal. He is relentless. He's got precision strikes 4 up, which is great. The Weapon Master special rule, which is unique for him. And the Warlord trait, the Harrowing, which he automatically has if he is the Warlord. So at the start of the battle, before any models are deployed by either player, the controlling player, Dynat's controlling player, can select up to 3 friendly units composed entirely of Alpha Legion infantry and give all of them one of the following special rules: Infiltrate, Scout, or Counterattack 1. In addition, you can make an additional reaction in the opposing player's movement phase, so long as Dynat has not been removed. So, pretty handy.
Reminds me of the old Alpha Legion rule.
Yeah.
Where you can kind of pick between a couple different rules.
Mm-hmm. So he can be pretty handy, allowing infiltration for infantry units that don't normally get to do it. Can't complain. Counterattack, it's a little less useful. Maybe decent in like ZM. Counterattack, always good in some Zone Mortalis.
Yeah, I was thinking about Dreadnoughts, but it does mention specifically infantry. So that's fine.
Yeah, so he's not Creed. There are limits to his genius.
No one's Creed here.
Yet. But Weapon Master, his little unique special rule. So during the assault phase, Dynat can choose to split his attacks between any weapons he has, declaring which will be used with which weapon profiles before any of his attacks are rolled. So he's got 4 base, he's got 2 non-specialist weapons, which gives him 5, 6 on a charge. Good times. The Prince and the Prophet are his paired, little mini Thunderhammer and Power Sword combo. The Prince is basically just a Power Sword. AP3, Strength User, Rending 6. The Prophet is Strength 9, so itsy bit better than a normal Thunderhammer. AP2, Melee, Unwieldy, Thunderstrike. So, Thunderstrike. If an enemy model that does not have the vehicle subtype suffers 1 or more hits, regardless of whether those resulted in wounds from the Prince, the Power Sword, Dynat may make 1 attack with the Prophet in addition to any he has made with either weapon in Initiative Step 1.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you essentially double whatever attack you hit with the power sword.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I do like the flavor text it has, where the prince is ostentatious and attracts the eyes of the foe, while the prophet is the thunderstrike of truth delivered to the unwary.
Yeah. It does. Let's see, because Thunderhammers are they brutal too now? They have something a little bit over and above a Power Fist, right?
I think they're concussive.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
So instead of concussive, you get to hit with it once for every time you poked somebody with your power sword beforehand. Not a bad trade-off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pretty solid. And 185 points.
Yeah.
Pretty darn cheap.
Yeah, compared, what is that, a good 50 points more than a normal Praetor?
Yeah, like yeah. I mean, I have to reset my mindset with how things are costed in this edition. I haven't really given a real good once-over on what to expect, what is pricing, what isn't. But in my head, this would be pretty darn good in the first edition.
Oh, yeah. Because over and above normal.
If not an auto take.
Definitely. I'm not a huge fan of his Warlord trait, but it's not bad at all. Over and above the normal Praetor, besides the Weapon Master, he gets Precision Strikes 4 up, which is great.
And you definitely can't sleep on Counterattack 1. Or just Counterattack in general.
Mm-hmm.
You can give that to some Headhunters. If they get charged, they have that extra amount of attacks with their power knives.
Yeah, the Power Daggers.
Power Daggers,
that would be pretty handy, because they already have Infiltrate and Scout.
Yep.
Can't complain.
No. So, before we get to the Rites and Alfarius, I'd also like to swing by, I don't know if we touched base on the Saboteur, which is the Legion Centurion upgrade that you can take, the Legionis Consullaris.
Yeah.
For 15 points, extremely cheap.
Yeah, almost forgot that nerd.
Yep. So the special rules, if you decide to upgrade one of your councils to a Saboteur, you gain the Infiltrate, Scout, and False Colors special rule, as well as Skirmish Unit subtype. In addition, a Saboteur may never be selected as the Army's warlord and may not join any unit other than Legion Seeker squads or Headhunter kill teams. So similar to the Exodus. So False Colors, a unit composed entirely of models with this special rule may not be targeted with a shooting attack by an enemy unit as long as a unit with this special rule has not made a shooting attack at any point in the battle. Once a unit or model with this special rule has made a shooting attack or successfully charged an enemy unit, including during a reaction, then the special rule has no further effect, nor does this special rule restrict the enemy from declaring charges targeting a model or unit that has this special rule. That's kind of neat. I'm not sure how super handy it would be necessarily. Well, let's take a look at the war gear real quick.
Mm-hmm.
They gain Melta Bombs, Breacher Charges, and Shroud Bombs at no additional point cost, and may select a Nemesis Bolter for 5 points. And in addition, they may not select the Legion Spatha Combat Bike, Legion Scimitar Jet Bike, or Legion Warhawk Jump Pack.
I have yet to find a place for him. They did, in the first edition, they got that neat little deal where they could roll a single penetrating hit on an enemy vehicle when they came in from reserves.
Now, the Saboteur, that was a generic council, wasn't it? If I remember right.
Oh, wait, no, that was the original Saboteur, because they kind of competed with the Vigilators there too.
Okay.
Because I think the Vigilator got something similar, but not quite as good. The Saboteur definitely got a better version.
Oh.
But now they're not bad. They're inexpensive. They're 15 points, 20 with the Nemesis Bolter. You're probably definitely going to take on him. Which is kind of, yeah, I guess it is half the points of what a console normally has to pay for the Nemesis Bolter. But Infiltrate Scout is okay. And False Colors does not seem like it's going to be able to do that much. Like, yes, he can't be shot at until he has shot or charged something, but I don't think that's going to be that useful that many times, because he's
Yeah.
either not going to be able to do anything because he will be, because it has to be a unit entirely of models composed. So he has to be by himself. He can't be in a unit of seekers or headhunters.
Well, he can be in Seekers and Headhunters. Problem is they don't get that false colors
Oh,
rule.
yeah, that's what he can join them, but he doesn't confer false colors to them.
Which I think kind of makes its usefulness a little bit lacking.
Yeah.
We'll say 20 points because you are taking that Nemesis Bolter.
Mm-hmm.
4 Melta Bombs, Breacher Charges, and Shroud Bombs. Definitely something worth considering if you're doing a small point game.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, one of the things I could probably see using because you can't get shot at, but you can be charged. If your opponent has like dedicated tank units on the field, where obviously tanks can't charge, a Predator is not going to be able to charge you. And the fact that you get Infiltrate and Scout, that actually makes a little bit more sense because the Saboteur was geared towards taking out vehicles. So if you're infiltrating close to a vehicle, in my head, that makes a little more sense. It's cheap because you probably wouldn't expect this thing to last very long because it is going behind enemy lines at some point if you're going to try to use it.
Yeah.
The trick is to getting it to vehicles before opponents can get up there and charge you.
Right.
So I can see some use for it. It's going to take some finagling, but I feel that's how you would run it.
That's about the most I could think of.
And again, for 20 points, it's an HQ, and so yeah, that would be what 70 point HQ.
Yeah, not mad at it.
No,
but can tell you what I'm definitely not mad at. It's Alfarius.
Yeah, let's talk about Alfarius.
So, as far as Primarchs go, he is kind of the smallest. He is probably a little bit of a budget Primarch, I guess you could call him. Well,
at 465, no, I think he's in the middle of the pack from what I've seen.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about that, like as I said, because like Mortarian's pretty hardcore. He's like 425. But I think kind of appropriately, he's very good in combat. Weapon skill, ballistic skill 7, strength, toughness, wounds, initiative, attacks all 6, leadership 10, 2-up save, Primarch business. He's not as great in combat as, say, like Russ, Angron, the Lion, of course. But he does a good job of benefiting the rest of the Legion.
Yeah.
So, like other Primarchs, they have to be the Warlord. He automatically has Sire of the Alpha Legion, which at the start of the battle, after all models from all armies have been deployed, including infiltrators and scouts, Alfarius' player can select up to 3 friendly units comprised of Alpha Legion. The selected units may be redeployed to any position in the controlling player's deployment zone or placed into reserves. You can also pick a single phase at the start of any turn in which Alfarius' controlling player is the reactive, and you can gain an additional reaction in that chosen phase, which is pretty good, very flexible. So I think it pairs kind of nice with a couple of his special rules. He's got Adamantium Will, 3+, which is pretty common. He's got Crusader, and got a couple of his own unique things, Insidious Mastermind and Everywhere and Nowhere. So Everywhere and Nowhere, before any models are deployed at the start of the battle, just like his Warlord trait, Alfarius can be given any one of the following special rules: Infiltrate, Scout, or Deep Strike. You can select up to 3 friendly units composed entirely of Alpha Legion, and you get the same special rule. as Alfarius gets. Not going to be bad.
No, especially with that deep strike.
Yeah. And that does not have the same caveat as the Warlord trait. It doesn't, or not the Warlord trait.
Dynat's Warlord.
Dynat's
Yeah.
Warlord trait. Doesn't have to be infantry.
Yeah.
Just has to have Alpha Legion.
So we're talking tanks?
Mm-hmm.
Predators?
Uh-huh. Now we are approaching Creed level.
Yeah.
If it's got Alpha Legion, infiltrate it, deep strike it, scout it. The world is your space oyster. We've also got Insidious Mastermind. At the start of any turn in which Alfarius' player is active and Alfarius is on the battlefield, including in a transporter in a building, you can grant one of the listed special rules to all models in the army with Alpha Legion, including Alfarius, that are not vehicles until the start of the controlling player's next turn. You can do Fleet 2, Sudden Strike 1, or Preferred Enemy Everything. Every single model in your army that is not a vehicle, Preferred Enemy Everything.
Wow.
It's good days.
Mm-hmm.
On to War Gear. Pythian Scales gives the Primarch standard 2+ armor, 4+ invulnerable. In addition, hits caused by weapons with Fleshbane or Poisoned gain no benefit when rolling to wound, because, Snake Man. And if it has no strength characteristic, treat it as strength 1. So he is T6, a whole bunch of poison and fleshbane weapons rely on that flat damage to, actually wound. Alfarius kind of makes him bounce off. His spear is also pretty good. Stays the same, its strength as user, so 6. AP 1, melee, armor bane, instant death. It is two-handed. Because, he's a littler Primarch.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Hydra's Spite is a basically a little mini plasma blaster. It's Assault 2, Strength 8, AP 3, Rending 4+, and Mastercrafted. So, can't be mad at it.
For sure. Yeah, the Primarchs in this edition are nuts.
Yeah, because all of that is layered on top of all of the Primarch, unit type special rules, which is a whole bunch.
So yeah, to reiterate Primarchs in this edition, as a unit type, they have the following rules. Independent character, Eternal Warrior, Fearless, It Will Not Die on a 5-up, Bulky 4, and Relentless. And
pretty darn good.
Yeah. And they always count as character models. They are not affected by special rules that negatively modify their characteristics, other than wounds, of course. And in addition, they always resolve snapshots at their normal ballistic skill. And any hits inflicted by a Primarch, either as shooting attacks or in close combat, are allocated by the Primarch's controlling player and not the controlling player of the target unit.
Mm-hmm.
And these
universal precision.
That's right. These hits should form a separate wound pool. Primarchs get a little special pool. and obviously they are the warlord if you bring them into your army.
I mean, clearly.
Yeah.
Who's going to fight that?
no one with any bit of intelligence.
I was going to say something mean. Because Primarchs have their own special little pool. Some Primarchs' pools are more shallow than others.
It's true. But yeah. So with that, we can tackle the rights of war.
All right. Yeah. The rights of war to wrap it up here with a neat little bow. Both are terrific. You're not going to be disappointed in either one. Coils of the Hydra. It's the classic, you know it, you love it, from the first edition. In this edition, if you'll remember, those fancy rewards of treachery, like all of that, like just menu of other Legion special units you can pick from. Now you can take 3. Like, what else do you need? It's great. All of the units as part of the detachment using this rite of war by means of reward of treachery gain the fearless special rule until at least one other friendly unit has been deployed from reserves onto the battlefield.
Yeah.
All units selected as part of the detachment using this rite of war without the use of rewards of treachery gain a bonus of +1 to hit made for them in all attacks, both shooting and melee, made during the player turn in which they are deployed onto the battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
So, all units, limitations, all units selected as part of a detachment using this rite of war by means of rewards of treachery must be deployed on the battlefield at the start of the first turn, so you can't put any of these guys in deep strike, subterranean, flanking, anything else. And you must include a number of units selected without the use of rewards of treachery equal to or greater than the number of units selected using the rewards of treachery special rule. These units must begin battle in reserves or assigned to deep strike, subterranean, flanking assault, etc. that requires them to start in reserves. So not god awful, but takes a little bit of finagling starting out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, again, 3 units, anything you want from other Legion's unique stuff.
Yeah.
It's good times.
Mm-hmm.
The other one, Rite of War, a little bit less subterfuge, a little bit more in your face, but Headhunter Leviathan. This never got used in the past edition because, as we mentioned, a baker's dozen worth of times, headhunters were nigh on unusable, and the Rite of War didn't give them a whole lot. It actually penalized them a little bit because if you didn't kill your opponent's warlord, you lost points because there were witnesses.
Right.
It's not great.
I feel that.
However, they kind of turned it around this time, and it's pretty good. Detachment using this rite of war can take headhunter kill teams as troops and fast attack. Keep in mind, it does not make them line, however.
Mm-hmm. We'll see that for a lot of rights this edition, so it's important to keep in mind where
your
tacticals and assault troops are still important in this one.
Yeah. And not all troops are line.
Yes,
it's a
correct.
Big deal to keep in mind.
Yep.
Let's see, if an army includes a detachment using this right, then the Slay the Warlord secondary objective is worth an additional 2 victory points to the controlling player of a detachment with this right. Can't complain. And during the first game turn, all units composed entirely of models with the infantry unit type and Alpha Legion gain shrouded while at least 12 inches away from an enemy unit. Pretty handy. That's never not going to be useful.
Mm-hmm. Unless they got night vision.
Yeah, but they can't all be winners.
We're playing Night Lords, so if you were playing yourself, Jason, it wouldn't be useful.
Yeah. And the only kind of small downsides, any units with the vehicle type has to begin play in reserves, and detachment using this rite of war has to include more fast attack choices than heavy support choices.
I think you'll be okay with that one.
Yeah. It does limit you, because it has to be more. It can't be the same. So it does limit you to 2 heavy support. But, I mean...
when you've got headhunters.
how heavy does your support have to be?
Yeah.
It's great. I went back and forth on this, like, because say like Pride of the Legion, makes Terminators and Veterans line. This does not make Headhunters line. I didn't like it at first, but I think now it would have been a little too much had they given Headhunters line, because then they would just no downsides whatsoever.
Right. Yep. So unless you take a couple units with line to hold objectives, it makes sense in my head.
Yeah.
Where because elites have just gotten so much better. If you were to give them line, there would never be a reason to take tacticals.
Right.
Or just basic troops.
Yeah.
You would just roll in with your right and then put them in the bin.
Like with Terminators, get in line and say like Pride of the Legion. Like Terminators are decently expensive. They're kind of slow. They're a little chonky.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're sturdy, but they're not like setting the world on fire.
Right.
Headhunters.
Yeah.
I mean, Headhunters absolutely set the world on fire.
Yeah. It would be too much for sure, especially at their price point and being able to hold objectives. Yeah.
Yeah, because if we haven't mentioned, they are, I think, almost literally half the points they used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because they started at 225. Now a full squad of 10, if you take all 5 extra dudes, is 225.
Yep. Just base.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would be amiss if we didn't delve a little bit into the legacies of the Age of Darkness PDF and tackle the one Alpha Legion HQ model that they have in here.
Good point.
Autolon Score.
Yeah.
Who is a Council Delegatus of the Alpha Legion. He has 125 points with weapon skill, ballistic skill of 5, movement of 7, strength and toughness of 4, 2 wounds, initiative 5, 3 attacks, leadership 9, and a 2-up. Your basic council affair.
Mm-hmm.
He has for war gear a bolt pistol, a rhyme shard, which I'll get to here in a second, artificer armor, frag grenades, crack grenades, a refractor field. He has Legionis Astartes Alpha Legion, is an independent character, has Master of the Legion, he has Honor of the Legion, and has a warlord trait called Desperate for Glory, and can only be taken in a traitor list. His warlord trait, Desperate for Glory, if he is chosen as the warlord, he automatically has Desperate for Glory as his warlord trait. On game turn 1, Autolon's score has Feel No Pain 6-up, increasing to Feel No Pain 5-up on game turn 2, and Feel No Pain 4-up on game turn 3, and successive turns until the end of the battle. In addition, the controlling player of an army with Autolon's score as its warlord may select one phase at the start of the battle before any models are deployed onto the battlefield. During the chosen phase of their opponent's turn, Autolon's score and any unit he has joined may make a reaction without expending any of the army's reaction allotment, as long as Autolon's score has not been removed as a casualty. Having that flexibility of being able to decide which phase you want in the game to get basically a free reaction, that's pretty good.
He's got... Okay. He's not bad. Like, he's pretty budget. He's a Delegatus.
He's 125 points, and I still got 2 more things here. For Honor of the Legion. Once per battle, at the start of the controlling player's turn, you may activate Honor of the Legion and take a leadership test with leadership characteristic 10. If you pass, and all friendly units that are pinned or falling back and have at least one model that can draw line of sight to the model with the special rule, immediately rally and are no longer pinned or falling back and may act normally this turn. And his weapon, Rhyme Shard, takes the form of a long-hafted axe with a semi-translucent recurved blade. It is counted as a power weapon for those rules that affect such weapons at strength +1, so strength 5, AP 2, and is melee, unwieldy, and mastercrafted. Which sounds like a power axe to me.
It's a
mastercrafted power axe.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
That is... All right. If there is a tiny part of disappointment to the Alpha Legion list, it's kind of Autolon's score. Like, come on, his wacky like semi-translucent like laser axe blade with an unsanctioned fusion of STC patterns and forbidden Xenos technology gives us a mastercrafted power axe. Come on, guys. You can't be mad at him, but he's kind of a dial tone.
Yeah, it's well, he's got some useful stuff. I can think of a few other HQ units that I might take before him. The burgeoning feel no pain is kind of neat. I do like that. Or it just gets better and better. But with 2 wounds, boy, you really want to have that guy surviving. Put him in a Spartan or something for first few turns of the game.
And that's the thing. Almost any place he's going to be able to really leverage that better feel no pain is kind of a place you don't want him, because he's just got a mastercrafted power axe. He's not going to stand up to a combat character.
No, he's definitely going to need a command squadron for sure, if you're going to choose to roll with him.
Oh yeah, but I mean, at that point, a normal Delegatus can do pretty much all the same stuff, and he's never going to be able to outfight something like a champion. I don't know. I'm just a little. He's so far down the list of HQs. Even at a lower point game, I would be a little hard pressed to find a place for him.
How much is a Delegatus this game? How much extra do you pay for a Delegatus here? Let's see.
That is an excellent question that I am entirely unequipped to answer.
Well, I've just got just enough here. Let's find out real quick. Delegatus can be picked up for an extra 25 points. So 85 points base would give you a Delegatus with no extra things, a bolt pistol and a chainsword.
So yeah, he's way more expensive.
So that'd be 40 points for a feel no pain that gets better over time, an ability to rally falling back units, which in this edition, pinning and falling back is going to be a serious thing to consider. And the mastercrafted power axe, I don't see basic Centurions getting mastercrafted anything. So it's up to you if you feel like that's worth the extra 40 points. Maybe it is.
That is a good point. Mastercrafted I feel like it's much fewer and farther between than it was before. Because I feel like in the first edition, everybody was slapping mastercrafted on everything.
Sure.
Delegatus.
Mastercrafted, artificer armor.
Yeah.
Refractor field.
Delegatus came stock with you could add, basically you got mastercrafted for free on one of his weapons.
Yeah.
So that's kind of old school. But
yeah. Again, this is a legacy document. So right now, because this was for a special Forge World Edition model, if I remember right.
Oh, yeah.
He was a special edition character.
Yeah.
The Alpha Legion. But
he's got that little swagger stick. He's got the left-handed power axe.
The lion helmet.
He's got that super sweet, little Oni helmet with the grotesque on the front.
Yeah.
It's terrific.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see him across the table? Yeah, I'd respect that. But I think that's the only Alpha Legion unit they have in the Legacies document. And I don't believe they have an exemplary. Well, I guess they have everything in the Legacies document.
I was going to say,
that's true.
There's only one unit with Legionis Astartes, Alpha Legion. But there are a lot of Alpha Legion units in that document.
Listeners, if you were to take a unit from, honestly, any of these books to roll in with your Alpha Legion army, what would it be? Obviously, a legal selection.
Oh, yeah. But I'd want to know what somebody would take if you had to pick out of the legacy or exemplary battles. Because everybody, I feel like the easy go-to is always going to be something super shooty, Tyrant Terminators or Fulmentaurus.
Mm-hmm.
Get that nonsense out of here. Bring me some fun stuff that would make me think, why on earth would you do that? Sell it to me.
Yeah. Make it unique. Let's see what you got.
Yeah. Iron Circle. That's I'm a huge fan of Automata. I'm going to I don't have rules for Automata yet. I can't play with a Pravian. I figured out a way to put like one of the very few surviving Automata in my list.
Yep.
Bring that kind of energy.
There you go. But yeah, so yeah, that's our first impressions of the Alpha Legion. Thank you all for listening. I don't have anything else to say about the Alpha Legion this episode. Yourself, Jason?
I can't say enough nice things about them. I mean, they feel, I know we're very new, like everybody is young and inexperienced at second edition Horus Heresy, but this feels like exactly what it should be. Like they're strong in some places, but not all places. They definitely have weaknesses. They are terrific to play. They feel like not only do they feel like the Alpha Legion, but they play well. They're not fiddly. They're not, it's not like, they have rules that don't sync up or don't seem to go together. Sorry, White Scars. They just feel like a lot of thought and time and effort and playtesting and passion was put into them, and they work so well.
Yeah. As someone who's on the opposite side of Alpha Legion, my first initial gut reaction is to use tanks when possible, due to the fact that other than most of their weapons, especially their power weapons and stuff, are geared more towards infantry. And longer range weapons, so I'm thinking like Volkite. Las cannons work for everything, so whatever, las cannons, I guess. Yeah, because you're going to have to overcome the shroud bombs and the 2-inch special rule they have.
The old LNO.
Yeah, LNO. The AL-LNO special rule. The ALNO. Yeah, long-range weaponry, tanks, I think would be a good counter to them. Just make sure you get that Saboteur charged out of the way when you can. But it's a strong Legion.
Oh yeah, they are very, very deadly at short-ranged firefights.
Yeah.
Especially when they can make you fail a charge. They're a very good, like, short-range firefight counter-assault sort of Legion. But again, they have to be well supported, because as good as a headhunter kill team is, vehicles and dreadnoughts are going to cause a lot of problems for them.
And outside of the sergeant, they still are in power armor.
They are.
And if you can get stuff that ignores cover to get rid of that extra bonus they get as skirmish units, that'll also be important.
And like dreadnoughts, after you get that like initial few shots, which you are not going to kill a brand new dreadnought with Bane Strike bolters, no matter how great they are, you can't wound a dreadnought with power daggers because they're strength 3.
Yep.
And they're breaching, not rending, so they don't auto wound.
So you have to rely on that melt-a-bomb that the sergeant has.
Single melt-a-bomb, crack grenades, it's not going to be great.
Yeah. And while you could take melt-a-guns with them, may not be the most effective use of their points. And again, Melta is only going to ding one wound off. So keep that in mind. But yeah, so yeah, we've talked a lot about Alpha Legion, and I hope this gives some people a good starting off point to think about if they're considering making an Alpha Legion army. Let us know.
If you're considering doing it, definitely do it. I can guarantee you won't regret it.
You'll have some fun. You'll have your opponents grit their teeth every now and then when you suddenly just teleport away from their charge.
It's good
It'll be
days.
a good time. But once again, thanks for listening to the Remembrancers Retreat. If you like us, be sure to go over to Facebook and Instagram at RR30K Podcast. Give us a like. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to our podcast. Leave a rating. We definitely appreciate the feedback. And if you'd like to support our program, go to patreon.com/RR30K Podcast. Become a patron today. We have periodic hangouts with our patrons on our Discord channel, which the link to the Discord is on our show notes. We just had one last night, and it was a blast. Yeah, if you'd like to support us, go to patreon.com, select a tier, and become a patron today. And as always, I'd like to thank all of our patrons, starting with our Legion Praetors, Alex Self, Captain Sasquatch, Chaplain Asar, Chris Mack, Garner.Tree of Woe, Joe from Music City Heresy, John Smith, Luke Rizzuto, Matthew Boyce, Michael Tisdall, Mr. Baldwick, Nick Quanga, Rena the Floof, Sar Luther, Taco Tuesday, your Buzz 22 Rock and Roll McDonald's, What's Ligma, and Zachary Thompson. Our Legion Centurions, Aaron Maynard, Andrew N., Dave Jones, Duncan, M. Tanzer, Gore Crow, Matthew Andriasio, Nick Hilda, Richard Bork, Scott LeMay, The Zoy, and Void Imperatrix. And finally, our Legion Sergeants Agrippina, Aircraft Terrier, Bull Farius, Ched Cheeseman, Dale Jones, Emily O'Hare, Garrett Lowe, Jay DeSales, Jonathan Crane, Carl, Nick Gillen, Noah Atkins, and Travis Smith. Thank you all for your support. We greatly appreciate it. And once again, if you'd like to join us, be sure to go over to patreon.com/RR30K podcast. And this was a long episode, and that's all I have tonight. So until next time, keep those dice rolling. Bye for now.
I love how you do the right Carl voice every time you read that
it's
Patreon.
Kaarl. I got to do it.
If we've done anything to date ourselves this episode.
Carl.
And that's a wrap.
Yep, that's a wrap.